Namaste. Namaste, Sastri. Namaste, Sastri. At the end of chapter 7, the last verse, Lord Krishna said, those who are in full conscious of Him and they understand Him, they can think of Him and know Him even at the time of death. Krishna in this chapter has used a number of Sanskrit terms like Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adibhutam, Adidevam, Adidhyam, then Adicharikam. So Arjuna is asking clarification of these terms. And I think he's asking 7 questions. And the last question is the most important. How can I know you at the time of death? And Lord Krishna will reply to the first 7 questions in 2 verses, 3 and 4. And then the 8th question, he will elaborate more deeply. And Krishna will speak about how do you at the end of the chapter, Krishna says, but the devotee, he knows these things, but is not concerned with these things. Because he knows that Krishna will take care of him. He does not have to be concerned with this. Because at the end, that's the summary of this chapter. We will first hear now Arjuna's question. And Krishna's reply, and we speaking Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate. Tattva Kimadhyatman. Sakim Om. Who is the being person? What is Brahman? What is the soul? What are productive activities? For this is material manifestation. What are the demigods? Please explain this to me. Atichakhyakatam potra desmyan sudana vayamakele sankatam niyasi yatatmavi. What is the lot of sacrifice and how does it live in this body from Mother Suda? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time? So these are the Arjuna's questions. We go back and look at it to the response. Ask what is Brahman. What is Adhyatma, the self? What is karma in that votive activities? What is Adibhuta, this material manifestation? What is Adideva, the demigod? Yeah, that sounds good. The elders, Aditya, what those engaged in devotional service, how can they know you at the time? He was putting these questions not simply to a friend, but to a person, knowing him to be the supreme authority, able to give that. So he Atma means body. Atma means the soul. Atma means the mind. What is the real meaning of Atma? Atma means the soul. So Krishna is the Purushottam, Uttama Purush. The Madhyam Purush is the triple soul, the link between Krishna and the Master. And we are the Adam. Very interesting. So Krishna is Adam, Uttam. Super soul is Madhyam Purush. Super soul Paramatma, the link between Krishna and Master. Lecture by Bhagavad Gita, 8:1 in Geneva, 97. With a lot of sacrifice and all actually the local second and now the local society. We heard that the chapter 5 again, book term, chapter is that if the enjoyable sacrifice, so it's enjoyable all sacrifices, and then he's asking always your side. He's asking this question, and yeah, that's important. Therefore, these dolls are like demons. Since Krishna is so expert in killing demons, Arjuna here addresses him as Madhusudan, so that Krishna might kill the demonic dolls. Therefore, he's calling him Madhusudan. So Madhu, killer of the demons. And then significance is called Vayana Kali. Whatever we do in life will be tested at the time of death. And then in the second last part, Krishna speaks about knowledge, Shikha, greater holiness. My dear Lord, just now I'm quite healthy, and it's better that I die easily, so that the swan of my mind can seek entrance from the stem of the lotus. Yet Arjuna questions how a person can fix his mind on Krishna's lotus feet at any time. So these are the questions. This advice here we make with all Bhakti Sastris a field trip. Visit the graveyard crematorium. Ask the students to wander around without speaking. Brief them beforehand to notice how they feel their thoughts. Debrief and explore the students' attitudes towards them. That's interesting. We are not going to do that, but that's in our mind. That I remember when I did quite some other background, 30 days wandering to Raj in Catholic, very nice. A little austere though. But the last day, the day before the last day, we were in Rabel. Rabel, what does it say to you? What happened in Rabel? Birthplace of Radharani. A nice temple, nice place. And then the next day we went back to Mathura, following the Yamuna. And there you come on at Mathura, and it's like at the right side of the bridge, you see washermen. Like Krishna is entering Mathura, all washermen have cleaning gloves on stones. And then we went up the bridge. You go over the bridge and come down straight into the crematorium. And we arrived there when they were just burning some bodies. It's quite an experience. Then it gives like a shock to our whole ego. We start to think, soon it's over. The life of the yeah. I've been thinking about that. There is on the battlefield. can come every month. So this word Vayana Kali, significant because everything we do in life will be tested at the time of that. And Kolak he wanted to die now. Now I'm fit, now I remember Krishna, let me die. Should we also think like that? Should we think like Kolak die now? Whatever we do in life, we will be tested at the time of death. Are you ready? Is suicide a means to attain Krishna? What happens to the devotee? No consequence. Yeah, come back. Because this body, we are in this body, we are trapped in this body. And we have to be in this body for a certain time. There's our prison time in this body. And you cannot escape the prison. Or you do, you don't get out of the prison. You get in more trouble. You get a ghost body. Because you have still material desires in the heart and you want to enjoy it. And cannot, you don't have a ghost body. And the ghost, it bothers others and troubles them to try to enjoy their body in their sleep. And they are most strong during twilight. Everyone knows what twilight is. And that's explained in the Bible. In twilight, Shiva and his companion souls is living under his ignorance. They go on. And if you sleep during that time, it's like very bad. Therefore, when you go to Mayapur with twilights, in the temple, they come with incense everywhere. Because that's been offered to Krishna. And from the moment the incense comes, it goes go. Therefore, that's not a solution. Yeah, not like Shekha. Sri Krishna will very quickly answer the first Bhagavan Vacha Aksham Kama Parama Svabhavadya Kamishate Buddha Papu Bhagavan Kamo Vishalpa Kama Sam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of material bodies of living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities. So the transcendental living entity is Brahman. We are spirit, and the spirit is made of Satchidananda, is Brahman, spirit. And this eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. The self is the soul. Action pertaining to the development of material body of the living entity is called karma, or fruitive activities. And that was the question yesterday. What is sin? Sin. That sin is every activity not done in Krishna consciousness, because that activity creates bodies, future bodies, and that's called karma. karma or pre-karma, but we want akarma, Krishna consciousness. Akarma does not develop material bodies. It purifies the subtle body that yes, next one with Krishna. Now in the purport, Srila Prabhupada also explains. Says Brahman refers to the living entity. Yeah. And Parabrahman refers to Supreme Person. In material consciousness it tries to be the Lord of matter. But in spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness, it positions to serve Supreme. So, the living entity is called Shivatma and Brahman, but it's never called Brahman. Shivatma usually refers to the Atma in the material world, Shiva. So the living entity takes positions, different positions. Sometimes he merges into the dark material nature and identifies himself with matter. And sometimes he identifies himself with the superior spiritual nature. It therefore is called the Lord's material energy. So what Srila Prabhupada says here, we are superior energy. And we can connect with the spiritual energy or with the material energy. We have the choice to connect. Therefore, we are marching. We can choose. How do we choose? We explained in the fourth chapter. You remember the green and red button and the blue button? That's how you choose to connect. The blue button, I want to serve Krishna. And the other buttons means I want to enjoy this body. So we are married now. We can choose how to connect that. Then further. Yeah. In the pose of sacrifice, living entity makes specific sacrifice to attain specific heavenly plans and consequently reach them. When the merit of the sacrifice is exhausted, the living entity descends to the earth in the form of rain, then makes on the form of grains, and the grains are eaten by man, and thus formed into semen, which impregnates in a woman, and thus living entity once again obtains the human form to perform sacrifice to repeat the same circle. But in this way, living entity perfectly comes and goes from the material path. Krishna conscious person, however, avoids such sacrifice. He takes directly to Krishna consciousness and therefore prepares himself to return back to Godhead. So the devotee said, I want all of it. It's being sufficient. So at the end, yeah. The fragment of God, the living entity, may fall down in the material world, But Supreme Lord Ashuta never falls down. That, and then at the end, yeah. It is important to remember that in Vedic literature, Brahman is distinguished from Bhagavan. Two different things, Krishna and see, yeah. Okay. Fine. And now we'll hear the next answer of Krishna. He will explain what's Adibhutam, Adidevam, Adijata. Adibhutam Sarobhavam Usasa Devatam Adijakyo Hame Bhaka Deyapriya. For best of them, what it brings, the physical nature is constantly changing. It's called Adibhuta, the material manifestation. Universal form of the Lord, which includes all the chemicals like those of the sun and the moon, is called Adideva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as a superstar in the heart of every living, of every embodied being, and called Adicakya. So Krishna is called Adicakya, super soul. Adibhuta is all what we see around us in the material world. Also all the living entities. And Adideva, the universal form including the sun, the moon, demigods. So the physical nature is constantly changing. But this physical nature is called Adibhutam. It is created and will be annihilated at a certain point. That, that is Adibhuta. And then you have all the chemicals there, planets, it's called Adidevata. And the present body, along with the super soul, planetary representation of Krishna, the super soul is called Paramatma of Adicakya. Further, the super soul Paramatma. The super soul, Supreme Personality of God, is seated beside the individual soul, is a witness of individual soul's activities, and is the source of the soul's various types of consciousness. Super soul gives the individual soul an opportunity to act freely and witness its activities. That will be further explained in the third chapter. That no point. So the first 7 questions have been answered. Krishna is very short, very clear. He clarifies the terms and comes to the most important point, how to attain the Supreme at the time. Then so then he speaks about Antakali at the time. Smaran, what we remember, but Kaleva, Pramitiva is Kaleva. Antakali Samam, and whoever at the time of that, at the end of his life, which his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. So anyone who creates his body in Krishna consciousness will at once transfer to the transcendental nature. world. The remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in the personal search. So what do you remember at the time of death? Time of death is a very bewildering state. All the organs are shutting down. So where will the mind go? The mind will go where it has been attached to during one's life. So it's like the sum total of all your attachments in your life. Therefore, we must exercise in our life, always something so to be able to do that. So what's the process? What should we do? Therefore, one should constantly, incessantly chant the mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. And further. There may be so many impediments for a person who is chanting Hare Krishna. Nonetheless, tolerating all these impediments, one should continue to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So that at the end of one's life, one can have the full benefit of Krishna consciousness. So anyone who dies in Krishna consciousness goes to the transformation. That's the first thing. The second thing, the best way to remember Krishna is constantly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Tolerate all the instructions of Bhakti. How to do it. This is the ultimate goal of Krishna consciousness, that Antakali, at the time of death, at the end of life, Antakali Samam, and to me, Antakali Samami, but certain smell, you will remember Krishna. Data worship is especially meant for this purpose, so that you can go on always within your heart. This practice is needed. Note very carefully what Prabhupada is saying. That when we do the deity worship, when we take shelter of the deity, we should feel the deity in our heart. We see Gaura. We should remember Gaura, Radha, and Krishna. Always think of Gaura like Krishna with the of Radha. And Tulsidan. If we give everything for Krishna, he promises us forces in our mind. But that mercy is required. Every time we see the deity, we should feel them in our heart. And then even in difficult situations, when we are not standing before the deity, we can feel them in our heart. That is very much. Yamam Vapishnam Bhavam Tam Tam Tekale Tam Tam Vedkam Vyasudata Bhavavadita. Is that key memorization verse? Please, five, not six. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body was not content, that state he will attain without. So that is tells us not about the destination of everybody dies. The man thinks of the wife thinks of the man. What happens? They change position. That is But what if we think about Prabhupada? We think of Prabhupada at the end of life, not of Krishna. The devotee asks Prabhupada, Prabhupada, when we think of you that time, what's happening? When we think of the spiritual master, and Prabhupada said, where does the spiritual master go? He asked. And the devotee said, to Krishna. So, uh, uh, don't make me come back. Why would you say? Well, I told the Lord and give the answer. That sounds tough, but you don't make it and you come back, then yeah, it may not be your spiritual master, so but it may be his representative. And it makes sense that the supersolar age. So yes, first in the bucket of six, and you in the simple questions called how can one die in a proper state of mind? And further, so we became, Bharat became an Of course, one's thoughts during the course of one's life accumulated the influence of one's thought at the time of the moment of death. It creates one's next life. Then the last part. Interesting that Prabhupada is always referring here to the Hare Krishna. You will find many paths, Hare Krishna. If one is constantly absorbed in Krishna's service, then his next body will be transcendent, spiritual, not material. So in a spiritual body, You cannot feel pain, only bliss. Yeah. We cannot understand. We think the Pandavas were suffering. We think Sita was suffering from separation from Ram. Sita was not suffering. Sita was experiencing the bliss of separation. We cannot. We are fools. We think we are the body. And we come up with a whole story on the body platform. That we can't understand these things unless we are graduated in the science of the service. You must have your PhD, and that's Chaitanya Charitamrita, and understand the feeling of separation. One is transcendental, is absorbed in Krishna's service, then the next body will be transcendental or fulfilled. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is the best process for successfully changing one state of being. Yeah. 6. We have a few. I will read the short one. How great a foolish face, Parikshit Maharaj, let the snake bite me at once. I only desire that you all continue singing the deeds of Lord Krishna. Because that was the question. Parikshit Maharaj, was fine. He asked this question before to the sages. What's the duty of a man about to die? I've only 7 days, please tell me. So they came up with different answers. And they disagreed. Basically, Goswami came and Parikshit asked the same question. And then it's Goswami. Tasma Bhavata Sarvatma Bhagavani Sarvami Shotapya Kapitapya Sarvatapya Tatavayam. Oh my Parikshit, if you want to meet your death in 7 days from now, in a peaceful state, you must now chant, speak, and remember the glories of the Lord. That's what we do in the sacrifice. That is the beauty of our mental life. They are all mental. It's Hare Krishna, I read it. But the positive side is it's to attain eternal life. And that's very so this practice of Krishna consciousness, if you always think of Krishna, not only you will think of Krishna at the time of death. And the result will be that in the next slide, you will get a body like Krishna, a transcendental body. If you read Pira, yeah. Compromise and going to Vaikuntha. But he's first in the Brahma Jyoti. Lord Shiva, Lord Sadashiva, is residing in the Brahma Jyoti, which is between Vaikuntha and Montreal walls. Lord Shiva is residing. Sadashiva is the original Shiva of all the Shivas in all the universe. But of course, that is Shiva Tattva in this world. It's not Vishnu, it's not the Shiva either. It's Shiva Tattva, separate category. But the Sada Shiva is different, that's Vishnu Tattva. And he is there with, and with his companions. Sometimes he wanders on his bull Nanda to the Brahmajyoti. And what does he do? He's doing Harinam, chanting the holy names of Krishna. And when Gopkumar was there, he was in full bliss, Harinam in the Brahmajyoti. And he asked Lord Shiva, why Harinam in the Brahmajyoti? Well, it's to deliver all these impersonalists who are merged in the Brahmajyoti. But then Gopkumar felt okay, but after some time he wanted to go further. And he came at the gate of Vaikuntha. And at the gate of Vaikuntha, out of the gate there comes a chariot with an Narayan form with 4 arms. And I think this is Lord Narayan. And he started to offer prayers to Lord Narayan. But then, of course, this the form of Narayan, this person was at 4 arms like Narayan, and he was conducting the chariot with his 2 hands, and with the other 2 hands, he put his hands on his ears and said, "No, I'm not Narayan." So it said here, at the time of death, you will get a body like Krishna. So in Vaikuntha, they have all 4 arms, the male forms, form of Krishna. But there's how can you then know the difference between the essence of Vaikuntha and Lord Narayan? Yes, you know. Kaustubha and Srivatsa. Yeah. 2 characteristics. Anyway. So now, yeah. Can someone's read that? Is that clear enough? Yes, sir. So I'm reading.
already on mental offensive as well as verbal being down for them. And if we more attention to some part of that, last time we said there are lessons we should take to heart. In devotee, we have some problem with making offenses to other devotees. I beg you to consider on this I'm experiencing big trial for my life and for yours. Please be serious in your devotional life. Please make as much progress as you can while you are able to function. While you are free. Read the Gita again. Take moves. Controversies that inspire you the most. Change your heart. Change your heart out in front of the people around and serve Guru Maharaj to the best of your ability. Then you will be safe and peaceful of your time and at the time of your death. And your mind will be fixed as well as your death. Don't lose the minute. There is no time to waste. The clock is ticking. That is the most serious thing in your life. This is what we have. Here people are trying to forget their anxieties by getting deeper into it. You watch TV on the aspect. They do crosswords. They eat the negative like inquire or blue. They eat sources. They listen to music and try to absorb themselves in material sound vibration. But it doesn't do any good. Their anxiety are beneath. I have some period that worried about my health. But they were scared in the deep. It's not that I'm like a religion. People just preach and predicting me, protecting me in the form of belief. In the worst times, I kept it mentally, the Mahamantra, or secure. Either I would have died thinking of Krishna or lived thinking of Krishna.
Anyone of you any other experience who wants to share? No? Okay.
So it's there. That I have come. And that she opened the eye. And stayed there.
Yeah. I remember that like a little boy, his name was Anand. He was born in Kenya as a Gujarati. There's many Kenyan, many Gujaratis. Many years before they moved to Kenya to help to build the railways there. He had their own community, but then 79 to 74 was dictated by the same. Idi Amin, I said, these Indians, they are bad for our economy. Within 30 days out or something like that. And they arrived here, but of course that was part of the British Imperium. They had all the British passport. So they moved all to England. They arrived at Heathrow with 100,000 on them. And then many came to live around London, and some went to Leicester, and he went to Leicester. He spoke me about that time, but he was a herbalist, herbal doctor, that was curing people. But then at a certain time, he had this this disease of the intestines, colitis. And at a certain moment, he had to remove most part of his intestines. And they put a bag there. That, then that was good for a few years, but then he got cancer. And it became, it spread like wild over the body. And he could not eat anymore. But interesting, that's his passing away, but 1 year before, his mother passed away. And I was on her deathbed when she left. And of course, Gujaratis, they are all pious, they are worshiping. In Leicester, I went door to door collecting for real. Every door you say, you see the Tulsi plant, Gopal. But I'm not real devoted. But he was, his mother had 8 children in Kenya, and then they moved to Leicester. And father passed away at a young age. So to raise 8 children without a father, you can imagine. She was a strong person. I visited her a few times before she passed away, but then the last day, when she was going to pass away, I was at her feet together with Amsarati Krishna, and Prabhupada's chanting of the mantra was playing in the background. And she was listening, and it was clear the moment was going to come, she was going to leave. And all these family members were around. And Amsarati Krishna said, as she passes away, that's a sacred moment. Don't cry. But then she was, at a certain moment, she opened her eyes for a moment and closed her eyes, like saying, I'm going. Then the last breath came. 3-4 seconds later, 30 people started crying. All this family. They could not retain. If you are not trained as a devotee, you don't understand what passing away is. This crying is selfish. It's selfish. The person will not benefit by that. So I was quite shocked by that. But then 1 year later, Amsarati Krishna himself had cancer. And he could not eat anymore. Not possible. But pain had it all, but then he became very weak. And he could only, I went to visit him every day when I could. 20 minutes, not longer. And when he would see me, he would say always, such much, such no, and then a little booklet of one of these small books that showed the planets. And he was telling me about what he read that day. He could not read much. It was always glorifying God. And that took nearly 3 months. 3 months, after 3 months, he was completely dehydrated. They brought him to the hospital. In England, if you go to the hospital, you are on an hospital ward with 6 beds. And in one bed in the corner was a very old lady, and she was always crying. And at the other side, just beside her, was a man, 50 years old or something. He was just got an operation and was always lamenting. And then here comes a Gothic Christian, lying there. So then one day, the day before, it was the 5th of July or something. At that time, it was the day of the establishment of ISKCON in New York. And I had a program in the evening with devotees, and we did Guru Puja for Srila Prabhupada. And the next morning, I took Prabhupada's garland with me. But I visited him the day before, and he was very weak. I wrote Bhakti Charumas is going to pass away, and he wrote me a message for him. And I read this message in his ear. And I was not sure if he would have understood it, but then at the end he gave a sign with his finger and understood. But next day I was thinking maybe he has already passed away. But then I was surprised. He has put him in a seat near to the bed, and he was better because he had got an infusion and had again got dehydrated. When he saw me, he smiled. So he's at the end of, he's going to leave his body. But at the other side, the old lady is crying, the man is lamenting just after the operation, and he's in a much lower condition, and he sees me and he smiles. And I gave him the garland of Prabhupada. And he said to me, I dreamed last night that Prabhupada was offering me his garland. That is what he said. And then I had to leave for Ireland for preaching. And 2 days later, the devotees called me on my mobile. And they were around him chanting the holy names. And they asked me to speak to them. They put a phone at his ear. And they said, I told him, Krishna is waiting for you. Let everything go, just go. 50 minutes later. But I feel no stories on that. But
What's the
that's better. Yeah, but he moved from Nairobi in 1974. He moved to Leicester, and he passed away 5 years. About 5 years ago means, I think it must have been 2018, 2019. But if you want to know all the details of the story, you can go to Dandavas.com. In the search first function, you will put my name, Bhakti, and there you find the article describing his passing away, not only from him, but also other devotees. I was with them at the time. Action much like that article. In Nairobi. Okay, we will have 10 minutes break till 20 past 5. Thank you. Now text 7 till 13. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Pitamanu Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duties of fighting. If your activity is dedicated to him and your mind intelligence fixed on it, you will attain me without fail. This instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagement. One can continue them and at the same time think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. This will free one from material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in chanting. By chanting Krishna's names, one will be transferred to the Supreme Planet, Krishna Loka, without doubt. So, this brings up a point that our eternal activities, are they more important than the external activities? That we are doing service with our senses, but our mind should be with Krishna. Or when I do external activities of devotional service, then the inner attitude will automatically develop to opposed perspectives. What Srila Prabhupada suggests here is you should do your work and you can chant Hare Krishna. Then you will think of the Hare Krishna mantra because you have to chant it. They are associated with Krishna. Anyway, whatever we do, the intention should be to please Krishna. We may forget Krishna sometimes during our work, but we should not forget that the purpose is that. So I explained these different levels of karma yoga. You remember the lowest level, I'm doing my duty and I'm detached from the results. I don't think of Krishna, I just do my duty. A higher level was Shekhnat Karma Nuyathalukuyam Karma Bandhana. I do my work and I may forget Krishna, but it is a sacrifice for Krishna. I give it to Krishna. And more higher is Yat Karus, Yat Asnas, Yat Yos, Dadas, Yat Tapasus, Count, Yat Krishna Mat Achtanam, I think 9:27 or so. That whatever you do, whatever you give away, whatever sacrifice you do, whatever charity you do it as a sacrifice for Krishna. Thus the work self should be done for Krishna. Means you must think of Krishna, right? And offer also the result. That's higher. Then the highest form of Bhakti Yoga, where it becomes, or Karma Yoga, where it becomes Bhakti Yoga, is equal. It's Patram Krishna Palam Tirtayam Yoga Bhaktya Prayachati. Offer me a flower, fruit, water, with a leaf, with love. Do everything out of love. But it's clear we cannot come at once to the highest stage. We have to progress that and build up our ability to think of Krishna. That means Prabhupada advise, organize your life in such a way that you cannot do anything else than 24 hours a day of Krishna. So that is purpose. But if we are engaged in Prabhupada's mission, we are engaged in a mission of Lord Chaitanya, which Krishna himself in a very nice form. That's the most. Anyway, that's the ideal. Always think of me in the form of Krishna and carry out your duties. Now, 8. So, 2 things in this verse 7. So one does one's prescribed duties and chant Hare Krishna at the same time. And in that way, think of Krishna. And if one thinks of Krishna, what's happening with the mind? So the subtle body has 3 components. What are the components? One, mind, intelligence, force, ego. So we take birth again because this subtle body, this mind, force, intelligence, force, ego, is contaminated with material attachment. So we have to purify this subtle body. How do we purify the mind? Manmana, think of Krishna. Yeah. And how do we purify the intelligence? Different ways. Yeah. You purify the intelligence by hearing Bhagavad Gita, by hearing the scriptures. You purify our intelligence by using the intelligence to make plans to please Krishna. And how do we get rid of the false ego? Yeah, that's purification of the intelligence. That reminds me. So if the false ego exists because the mind and the intelligence are impure. But if they are purified, false ego is gone. Yeah. That's how we purify the subtle body. And that is a process of spiritualization of the subtle. Spiritualizing. we finish the subtle body, subtle material body by spiritualizing it. And when it's spiritualizing, the material body does not exist. Then the material subtle body is gone. Then it's taken over by our original thinking, feeling, and willing. Then it's taken over by the spiritual body. And that point is called Jiva Mukta. So that's the importance here to spiritualize the mind. Yes.
Purifying mind and intellect, causing with God.
Yeah.
Does it have any spiritual mind or intelligence?
Well, the false ego is gone. It's gone. Because the false ego has been transformed into real ego. Yeah, and not pure ego is a spirit soul. The spirit Srila Prabhupada writes in Srimad Bhagavatam, I think 177 or 176, he writes, the spirit soul has its own thinking, feeling, willing in the unconditioned state also. So the spirit soul has its own thinking, feeling, and willing, but it has become inactive because you can only use that for Krishna. And the purpose of Krishna consciousness is to make that active again. In the material world, we have a separate mind and intelligence. But on the level of the soul, there is no separate mind and intelligence. The mind and intelligence is the spirit. It's there we are identified. That's not good. Text 8. Abhyasa yoga yuktena sichanam gagamina param purusham divyam yat Bhakti. He will meditate on me as Supreme Personality of God, and his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviate from the path, sure to reach me. Yeah. That's interesting. We look at this. I want just to read the last paragraph. Can someone read that? It's on the board. The devotee.
The devotee may constantly think of the object of worship, the Supreme Lord, in any of his speeches, Narayan, Krishna, Brahma, by chanting Hare Krishna. But this practice will purify him, and at the end of his life, due to his constant chanting, he will be transferred to the kingdom of God. Yoga practice is meditation of the Supreme Soul within. By chanting Hare Krishna, one fixes his mind always on the Supreme Lord. The mind is different, and therefore it is necessary to engage the mind by force to bring of Krishna. One example of this difference is that of the caterpillar that thinks of becoming a butterfly, and so is transformed into a butterfly in its own life. If we constantly think of Krishna, it is certain that at the end of our life we shall have the same body with Krishna.
So, we spoke about the mind and intelligence. When we chant Hare Krishna, we engage the ear, the tongue, and the mind in the service of Krishna. And we use our intelligence to chant with determination. So the full engagement of the subtle body.
24/7.
Yeah, but of course, we have to build that up. So therefore, we need a sadhana. Good sadhana. If you follow the morning program, then and you start to chant early before Bhakti, then your mind is engaged in Krishna consciousness till breakfast. And breakfast should be a meditation on Krishna, because that food has been offered to Krishna as prasadam. So we meditate and taste very nicely how Krishna tasted the prasad. That should be our meditation, and not that I'm going to eat, I'm going to devour and conquer it. No, no. It should be a meditation. And then after breakfast, we start service for Krishna. And in the beginning, we may forget Krishna, but it's with intention to serve Krishna. That, and then, yeah. But when we do our service, I remember I was an accountant, and I had also there's a lot of work, input of data in the computer, and I had Bhagavad Gita with me. I was reading a verse, and I was repeating that verse while I was always connected. But while you do your service, sometimes, or your work, you have some difficult situations, or you need to remember something, and I don't know. Then you pray to Krishna, please, Krishna, help me to remember. I'm doing it for you. So take always short of Krishna in the difficulty, what you do. But by that, I learned a lot of verses and was doing my job. And then in the evening, usually I was cooking for Krishna, and then I was every evening reading the Bible, 10 pages, at least 10 pages or 10 verses and purport. And one verse of Bhagavad Gita and the purport. I did that every day. And if you read every day 10 pages of the Bible, then quickly, after 4 years, I went to the entire Bible that way. And then I was going out into bed. So like that, and in the morning I had to do my children. Always there. But I was always busy with it. That's different for everyone of us, organize one's life. And sometimes you can directly of thinking of Krishna, sometimes not. But if you have a good sadhana in the morning, you are protected during the day, during the attacks of Maya. It protects you. You are more tolerant, you don't take things so serious.
So I did complete our 6 down. People pay to chant.
Yeah, sure.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's for change.
So that's like,
Yeah, chant and try to put Krishna.
that's okay.
That's recommended. Okay. Then we have here a quote from a lecture of Srimad Bhagavatam on the Bhagavatam Los Angeles. In that this was 97. Someone wants to read this if you think.
If you think of Krishna 24 hours a day, you'll become fully Krishna conscious and your life will be sustained. This requires a little practice. Abhyasa yoga yukena chaitasa talking about, I should not allow my mind to think of any subject other than Krishna. We have so many books. You must find some time to read all these books or to chant. When you are hungry, you take prasad. When you are sleepy, you take a nap just to refresh yourself. Then keep on either chanting the beads, or reading the books, or talking about Krishna. In this way, you will always remain in Krishna consciousness.
Now, in the next verse, Krishna will give us ways how to meditate on it. But it's in another meter. Kavim Puranam Anushashitaram Anokam Samanushpatya Sarvyasya Tataram Achintya Rupam Nadiksha. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, who is always person, is luminous like the sun, and is transcendental beyond the material nature. So, that makes the point in a verse, but we cannot meditate on anything impersonal void. The Lord is Kavi, that is, he knows past, present, and future, and therefore knows everything. He is the oldest because he's the origin of everything. He's a maintainer and an instructor for humanity. The living entity is 1/10,000th part of a tip of a hair, but the Lord is so inconceivable small that he enters into the heart of this particle. Therefore, he's called the smallest, then the smallest, then further down. He pervades this material world and yet is beyond that at the end. Therefore, intelligent persons avoid useless arguments and speculations, should accept what is stated in the scriptures in the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam, and follow the principles they set down. That will lead one to understanding. It's 9. Okay. It's good to remember from the purport that, yes. But all these points mean always the smallest, that how he pervades everything, always the oldest. And Krishna continues. Oh, yeah, and now he speaks about the yogi. Then Vayanakale Manachan Shalina Bhaktyo Yukto Yoga Palina Shiva Rupo Matye Pranamavesha Samyak Satam Param Purushamapete Divyam. When what the time of death fixes his life hair between the eyebrows, by the strength of yoga, with an undeviated mind engaged in slowly remembering the Supreme Lord, in full devotion will surely attain the Supreme Personality. So at the time of death, the mind must be fixed on the Supreme Personality of God. At the end, Srila Prabhupada is clear Without practice of yoga, whether Chakra yoga or Bhakti yoga, one cannot come to this transcendental state of being at the time of death. One cannot certainly remember the Supreme Lord at death. One must have practiced some yoga system, especially the system of Bhakti yoga. Since one's mind at death is very disturbed, one should practice transcendence through yoga during one's life. So that's clear. We cannot just remember the Supreme Personality at the time of death and do all kind of nonsense. That's not possible. So that is 10. So unless one practices some type of yoga, such as Bhakti yoga or such Chakra yoga, one can remember the Supreme. Such 6 chakras, the yogi moves the soul from chakra to chakra by controlling these 6 subtle life airs. And they are names, but then finally they bring it here. But Bhakti yoga we fix the mind of Krishna. The signature. Yadaksharam Vidavido Valanti Vishanti Yantayo Yadichanto Mamachayam Charanti Tativam Sankayam. First of all, learned in the Vedas were utter Omkar, and why great sages were announced for the entry into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. So this is impersonalist for opera. Chant Om, but Om we will learn at the end of the 17th chapter. Om is the impersonal aspect of the Absolute aspect. And Om is also an address of the Absolute. So after Om, Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So that is 10. So 11, sorry, 11. Especially, it says, yeah. Especially for the impersonalist, the Akshara or Omkar, syllable Om is identical with Brahman. Krishna explains impersonal Brahman, into which they announce order of sages enter. Then Srila Prabhupada speaks about the Vedic system. In the Vedic system of knowledge, students from the very beginning are taught to vibrate Om and learn the ultimate impersonal Brahman while living with the spiritual mastering of each syllabus. So, in this way, they realize the 2 of Brahman's features. This practice is very essential for the student's advancement. But at the moment such brahmachari, unmarried, celibate life is not at all possible. So no brahmachari is very rare. Unless one practices celibacy, advancement in spiritual life is very difficult. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has announced, according to the scripture injunction, for this age of Kali, in this age, there is no process of realizing Supreme is possible except the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. So many times you find the Mama when this verses. Interesting. Now we have text 12. Sarvatvarani samyanyam no vidini uchasa. Mokni adaya manadanam ashito yogadam. Yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagement, closing all the doors of the sense and fixing the mind on the heart and the life at the top of the head. One establishes oneself in yoga. So that is called pratyahara, withdrawing from the sense objects. But in this way, the mind focuses on the superstore heart, and the light pulse is raised to the top of the head. That's what yogis do. But this practice is not practical in this stage. The best process is Krishna consciousness. If one is able to fix the mind on Krishna in devotional service, it is very easy for them to remain in an undisturbed, transcendental trance in samadhi. Yeah. Some yeah.
Or
in all these verses here, Srila Prabhupada quotes the Hare Krishna mantra 7 times. 7 times. Now, these verses from 10 till 13 that we read, they are presenting yoga mishra bhakti. Bhakti practiced through the yoga system. It's a mixture of both. That, of course, we cannot practice this yoga system, but this yoga mishra bhakti. That, and this yoga mishra bhakti, if we go back to the 7th chapter and the second last verse that there, yeah. Charamana moksha mamashite atantite Teva matat vidukrisha matyatman karmasakaram. 1,000 persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and that take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman and they are entirely know everything about transcendental activities. So here, Krishna mentioned they take refuge in devotional service. It is yoga, through yoga system, taking refuge in devotional service. That now, okay, the last verse, 13. This section is Om Ityekaksharam Brahma Vyama Yapayadatyanteyam Sayati Param Gatim. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. So this is 8:13. So in the purpose, it is clearly stated here that Om, Brahman and Lord Krishna are not different. The impersonal sound of Krishna is Om, but the sound Hare Krishna contains Om. Hare Krishna contains Om. So the devotees of Krishna enter the Krishna planet, Goloka Vrindavan. For the personalists, there are also innumerable other planets known as Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, whereas the impersonalists remain in the Brahma Suti. So in this purpose, Srila Prabhupada again mentions the Hare Krishna. That so important is it. So yes. Any questions?
Just reading the previous one.
Sorry. Om is a combination of the letters A, U, and M. A refers to Krishna, U indicates Srimad Radharani, and M indicates the Jivas. So Om is Krishna, everything should be there in Krishna. The Jivas are part of Krishna. And Srimad Radharani is included. And then 13, the last one, on the purport, Srimad Bhagavatam 1:2-1:17. Chanting Om is the transcendental but mechanical way of getting into trance. Persons who are unable to realize the transcendental personal form or name of the Lord because of imperfect senses are trained to the practice of self-realization by this mechanical process of regulating the breathing and similarly repeating Om frequently. That for those impersonalists who practice the yoga Loka system who wants to merge with Rama. Yeah.
So when Durvasa Muni went to Vaikuntha, planet was power. But there is a spiritual world. Right? How again coming back? Why? I mean, I know. That's a good comment. But it is a spiritual world. Yeah.
You don't need to come back. But
So how come it is again? You go there, you don't need to come back.
it took full shelter of Lord Narayan that your people could go there but because of the offense he could not stay. He had to come back.
That means a lot of souls, they must be facing that problem. They must be having some offense, that's why they have to come back.
Well, it was by Krishna's special arrangement that they could go there to hear from Lord Narayan. But he had to come back. Krishna's special. Normally that does not happen. Like the four Kumaras, they were Brahmavalis. They could go to the gate of Vaikuntha. They wanted to go in by enter Vaikuntha, but they were not devotees. So they could not enter Vaikuntha. But they cursed Jai and Vijay. And then Lord Narayan came to the gate and said, I'm sorry, because these servants of me have made an error and have blocked entrance. But then the four Kumaras, they saw Lord Narayan for the first time and smelled the tulsi fragrance of a tongue of tulsi of another's lotus feet. And then their mind changed. They became devotees. But still, they did not enter Vaikuntha at that time because they were new bhaktas. Jai and Vijay were very senior devotees serving the Lord since time immemorial. And then they understood, oh, we made an offense to cursing them. But they had also the power to go to the border of Vaikuntha because they were Brahmavalis. To enter Vaikuntha, you need to develop love of Krishna. But Durvasa Muni, he was a devotee of Krishna when he made that offense. Because, anyway, he was also related to Lord Shiva. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
What was the last?
That's Bhakti Krishna Param, love for Krishna. But of course, when you can read in Chaitanya Charitamrita conversation between Ramananda Roy and Lord Chaitanya. Yeah, and Lord Chaitanya says every day, I start with Varnashram. He says it's external, and Jagnakaram it's external. Savadam Prachyaman comes out. So it's external. But then he comes to, then he starts to describe this the relationship with Krishna in Sandara, in Sakya. And then he says, okay, go further. That because then love for Krishna starts. It starts after liberation. And that is what, but, but he rejected it all as external, because karma yoga is meant to bring us to Bhakti yoga, to purify us. And purification remains external because the heart is impure. The heart is impure. And as long as the heart is impure, we cannot fix our Krishna, our mind on Krishna, and we cannot express our love for Krishna. It remains external. Unless one comes to Bhakti, and of course, but if one does it with a pure heart, one comes out his border of developing of Krishna. And so that's, but the others are all external. Of course, yat karosi yat asnas, you do it as a sacrifice for Krishna. But highest Bhakti Krishna belongs to, because then you do the activity out of love for Krishna. That's the point. That's fine. Something else. Good. Then we will continue tomorrow and finish the 8th chapter tomorrow morning. So tomorrow we will hear about the yogis, how they pass away, that and yeah, more details about Krishna telling us that this world is Dukkhalayam, Sasvatam. And so, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, and